The FBI says it's now investigating that hostage situation in Texas as a terror-related incident targeted at the Jewish community. 4 people were held hostage Saturday night at Congregation Beth Israel. This is in Colleyville. The suspect has been identified as Malik Faisal Akram. Now, he was killed on the scene. All the hostages made it out alive. 2 of them are now detailing the tense hours before they were released. CBS News correspondent Omar Villafranca reports the latest details.
It was terrifying. It was overwhelming, and we're still processing.
Appearing on CBS Mornings, Rabbi Charlie Citron Walker described the tense 11-hour standoff at Congregation Beth Israel and the moment he realized the man who claimed to be homeless was taking them hostage.
I heard a click, and it could have been anything, and it turned out that it was his gun.
Sources tell CBS News 44-year-old Malik Faisal Akram was a British citizen who arrived at New York's JFK airport about 2 weeks ago. Making his way to Texas, he stayed in a homeless shelter and somehow obtained a gun. Today, one of the hostages says Akram claimed he targeted the synagogue because of its proximity to Afia Siddiqui, a convicted terrorist with suspected ties to al-Qaeda. He demanded her release from a Texas prison as the FBI rescue team flew in from Quantico, Virginia. Hostage Jeffrey Cohen told CBS station KTVT that after 10 hours of negotiations,
he started spouting for a good few minutes. I was going to put a bullet in each of us, whereas earlier in the day, he was going to let us all go, and he was the only one who was going to die. But at that point, he was going to kill each of us. He even told us to get down on our knees.
But before the FBI went in, the hostages saw an opportunity to save themselves.
He put his gun down to pour some soda. And that's the point that Rabbi Charlie threw the chair and yelled, "Run."
I told them to go. I threw a chair at the gunman, and I headed for the door. And all 3 of us were able to get out without even a shot being fired.
A video shot by ABC affiliate WFAA shows the hostages escaping through a side door. Akram follows them out, then ducks back in. The tactical unit springs into action. Within seconds, Akram was dead, the hostages alive. Like many religious groups, members of this synagogue have been through active shooter training.
We were consciously watching and looking for those opportunities because that is what saved our lives.
And Omar joins us now from Colleyville, Texas. They're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Omar, you've been covering this since it all unfolded. I'm just wondering what's the latest you're hearing on this investigation?
Well, we're getting some new details, Errol, just in the last few minutes. One thing that we are learning is that he paid cash, the suspect paid cash for his flight, and that he did travel alone. We're also learning how he got from New York to Texas. We learned now that that was a flight that he took to get down here. The big question is, how did he get a gun, managed to get a gun? It's very hard for non-U.S. citizens to purchase a firearm here in the U.S. I mean, there are small veins that someone would be able to. It's extremely hard, but sources with the FBI are telling CBS News that they believe that the gun was somehow obtained here on the street in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That would mean also, if it was loaded, he would have to purchase bullets, which you don't need a license for. But we're getting more pieces as investigators release a little bit more information.
Interesting there. It certainly suggests this was well thought out. Investigators will want to know if anyone knew of this planning. As I mentioned, you've been covering this since it all unfolded. It could have ended so dramatically differently. What impact has all of this had on the community there?
Well, here in the line of sight community here, people are walking around. We notice them talking to each other. This is a neighborhood. This synagogue is in the middle of a very residential area. As a matter of fact, there's a Christian church right across the street from it, and there's houses here to my left. So when all of this was going down and there was initial threats of a bomb being involved, residents here had to basically evacuate their homes because the authorities said, you got to get out, there's a possible bomb here. Now it's creating a lot of conversation, even more so between the community here in Colleyville, near Southlake, near North Richland Hills and Keller, Texas, small suburban communities around here. They're now starting to talk to each other. In fact, we found out that members of this synagogue are going to be holding sort of like a Thanksgiving vigil tonight at a nearby town, and they just want people to come by and give thanks. You're right, it could have ended much, much worse, but it did not. In part, after talking to hostages, the synagogue here had gone through safety and active shooter training, and 2 of the hostages have said that they are crediting that to helping save their lives.
Just remarkable. And we know from your reporting that Akram repeatedly spoke to negotiators about Afia Siddiqui. She's currently serving a sentence in a federal prison there in Texas. Have authorities, though, been able to paint a clearer picture of why this suspect targeted a synagogue to send his own message?
Yes, we were talking to Jeffrey Cohen. KTVT talked to Jeffrey Cohen, one of the hostages who was in there, and he said that Akram went on an anti-Semitic, anti-LGBTQ, anti-Zionist, anti-American tirade, basically saying that he thought the Jewish community controlled everything and they would have a direct line to President Biden, so that way he could tell President Biden to release Siddiqui from the prison, which is nearby in Fort Worth, where she's serving her sentence. So that was one of the reasons why he chose to come to a synagogue, and we're still trying to work out the logistics of this, but this may be the closest synagogue physically to where that federal prison is, where she's serving her time. So you're right. As you mentioned, there may have been some thought process that was involved in this, and absolutely, you know, him getting in there Saturday morning, it was below freezing. You know, I live up here in North Texas. It was below 30 degrees. He went up to the synagogue under the guise saying that he was homeless, and the rabbi let him in, made him a cup of tea, and that's how he was able to get in. So obviously some thought process on how to do this was involved.
Very chilling. And if we string together the details that you've set up, he used cash, took a plane, got the weapon nearby, you know, went in under the guise of needing help. I'm wondering how this situation in Texas has impacted how law enforcement and security in other cities now may be responding, if at all.
They are. I mean, in Dallas, right after this happened, the Dallas mayor said that he was beefing up security at the synagogues and urged other people at other religious buildings to basically kind of keep an eye out and be vigilant. The last thing they wanted was any sort of copycat crime of this happening elsewhere. But it's kind of you know, reinstilling the whole if you see something, say something mentality around here, because he went in under the guise of being homeless. This is a very well-to-do residential area, so there's not a lot of homeless people walking around this area. So people are being more vigilant and talking to each other, talking to their neighbors, not just in the neighborhood, but neighbors of faith. And they're coordinating very well. I mentioned that vigil is going to be going on tonight. That's actually going to be happening at a Christian church nearby. The rabbi is going to be there, and one of the hostages is going to be there. They all want to unite to support each other and say, hey, we have each other's back.
Really insightful information. Omar Villafranca reporting right there from the scene. Thank you very much.
Thank you.